Hello, I'm Mrs. Stahlbaumer, your Media Resource Specialist, and in this video I'm going to show you how to search the Bennett Online Book Catalog and also how to create a My List. But first of all, how do I get to the book search and Learning Commons catalog? Well, if you're at the Bennett Elementary webpage, there is a tab called Learning Commons, and you want to scroll over it and you'll see a drop-down menu where the Learning Commons Google site will pop up, where there's lots of information there. But so that you don't have to search that website, you can either click on Book Search or Single Sign-On Link. Now, I've already created a video on single sign-on, so we're just going to go through the book search. And it's basically the same way. Single sign-on, you'll just click on the Fall Out Destiny icon, or book search, you're just going to be directed directly there. So as you can see, I need to log in. Now, I can search the catalog without logging in, but if I'm going to create a My List, I need to make sure that I'm logged in or it will not automatically save. Also, when you log in, there will be a lot of information that will be revealed for you. It's hidden under the login screen. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to put a black box over the information because it's going to have hyperlinks to subscriptions such as Pebble Go, Tumble Books, RGVURL, Overdrive, and all kinds of things like that with passwords. Eventually, all of our subscriptions will, or most of all of our subscriptions, will be in the single sign-on, and we won't need all of that information hidden behind the login screen. But for now, when you see a black box over it, you're just going to know that that information is being hidden so that we can post this video. So I'm going to log in. And so here it's saying logging in with McKinney Single Sign-On. So you guys have single sign-on, so you can click there. And like I said, I'm going to black boxes over this to protect the passwords for our accounts. But I have things on here like I have links to the Learning Commons Google site, the Makerspace Google site for the single sign-on, so that if you want to access your Google Drive or Pearson or all the other subscriptions that will eventually be there, you can just click that link. I also have GVRL, eBooks, Overdrive, Tumble Books, BrainPop Junior, BrainPop, Discovery Ed, and Maps 101 as well. So as the single sign-on changes, the information on this page will also change, but you will not see this if you do not see your name up here. Your name up here means that you are actually signed on. So that's the home page. We're going to go to the catalog now. And so now that we're in the catalog, I can begin my different types of searches. I have a library search, which I can create a basic search, a power search, a visual search, or copy categories, and I'll go over all of those in a minute. A Destiny search, a Destiny Discover, and my resource lists. And the first way that we're going to start with is Destiny Discover. Now, Destiny Discover is a great way for us to search because, as you can see, it shows the books that I just recently have purchased. So you can see that there are new books that are just, or we've ordered books that were damaged. So we've gotten some new books in. These books here are popular titles, so these are some popular books that are checked out and used a lot by our students. If you want to browse by graphic novels, you would click graphic novels, and it would pull up a list of graphic novels for you to look through. And I like that it tells you if it's in or if it's out. There's also some databases with there's graphic novels in them for you. This is an ebook, so if you wanted to open it, if you wanted to check it out, you don't actually have to check it out to read it when you are in Destiny Discover. You actually can just read it without checking it out. Okay, so I just click Destiny Discover to get back to the first page. There's audiobooks, so maybe I want to listen to a book. Those are available as well. Okay, so that's how you use Destiny Discover, and you just search it like you normally would. So if I wanted to find a Mo Williams book, I could just search there by author, by title, however I wanted to search. And so then these come up with all the books by Mo Willems. So that's Destiny Discover. So let's go back. Let's go back to Destiny. Okay, now I'm going to show you Destiny Quest. Destiny Quest is a visual search. So here you can see like the top 10 books that have been checked out. If you have a personal My List, which is something that I'm going to show you how to create here in a second. These are the new books that have just recently been added to the catalog. And so you would just search a house for hermit. Let's say that that's the book that I'm looking for. And it says that I have a house for hermit is available, okay, because it's in. So I'm going to click on it, and it gives me a summary. And this is the important part right here. It tells me the call number. The call number is where it's located in the Learning Commons. So the E stands for everybody, so it's going to be in the everybody section, and it's alphabetized by the author's last name. So Eric Carle writes this book, so it's in the everybody section under CAR. So that's going to be important for me to locate the book. Also over here, it tells me that 2 of 2 are available locally. Locally means that it's available at Bennett Elementary. So if this said 0 of 2, that means that we have the book, but all of our copies are currently checked out. Okay, so if you wanted to add this to your My List, you would just click Add to My List, and therefore it's currently in your list. And I will show you how to check your My List in a minute. So you can also search by author, subject, the genre, your interest level, your reading level. If you like a particular series, you could search by series as well. So that's how we search using Destiny Quest. So I'm on the home page for Destiny Quest, and I told you that I would tell you about your resource list or your My List. And so we put a house for hermit in our My List. And so right here where it says resource list, I'm going to click, make sure that it's on My List. I'm going to click my personal list, and you can see the book that I put in there, I added it to the list, is there. If I didn't want it, I could just click the X here. Okay, and I could remove it from the list. And then down here I have my print options, and I can print it. I can sort it by call number and the print preview. Remember, as long as you are logged in, see how it has my name up here? As long as you are logged in, you can log into any computer and you can see your list. So I just wanted to show you how to do that from Destiny Quest because it's a little bit different than when you do it from the library search page. Let's go back to, let's go home. Okay. So this is the standard page that comes up because you're under library search, you're in the catalog here, and you're under the basic search. So you can search by keyword, so you could type in dogs and you could type by keyword, or if you knew the exact title of a book that you were interested in, because of Winn-Dixie, you could search by title, and that comes up, and you see how this E is inside the box? That means that's an ebook. So we don't actually have that on the shelf. You would have to read that online, and you would check that out through the Follett. This one down here means that we have it as an audiobook, which means that we have it on CD and you could listen to it that way. And then this is our print book. Okay. You also can search by author. So let's search Mo Willems. And so then all of Mo Willems' books pop up, so I can search by author. Make sure that when you are going back, you don't click the arrows because it doesn't like that. Just go ahead and click library search or click the Destiny Quest or this Discover to bring you back. You can also search by subject, so if you're learning about a particular subject like rocks and minerals or crystals or matter or weather, certain types of weather, you can search by that as well. And then also you can search by series. So if you're looking for the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, you could search by that as well. Now this information down here Students typically do not need to change anything because you're only going to search at Bennett Elementary. We do not search books at other schools in McKinney for students. The material type, if you want to make sure that it's just a book, you could change that, but really you don't need to mess with this because most of our resources are books, so you don't need to worry about that. Now you may want to select reading level. So if your teacher tells you that you need to have a Just Right book, and let's say you're a third grader and your reading level is between third grade and fourth grade, you could put that in there. And I think you have to have 0.0, but I'm not sure. And we don't really have reading programs in the system, so you don't need to worry about that. And let's just say, let's do dogs. And I want 3rd through 4th grade reading level. So I just click enter, and you can see that the reading level, this one's a 3.3, this one's a 3.6, this one's a 4.0. So the books that are recalled are now on my reading level. Something else I showed you on the Destiny Quest was the call number. So here's the call number listed for the book in the library search view. And so the numbers stand for nonfiction. So you're going to go to the nonfiction section. You're going to find the 600s to locate this book. The FIC on this call number means that it is a fiction book, and these are most often going to be chapter books. We do have a few picture books in our fiction section, but most often they're going to be chapter books. And then you're going to go to the fiction section and find the O's, because this is the first 3 letters of the author's name. If it starts with an E, I'm trying to see if I have any down here that start with an E. I don't think I do. Oh, here's one. This one starts with an E. That means it's going to be in the Everybody section. And it's also listed by author, so you're going to go to the T's to find this book. This one here you can see is an ebook, so you would have to read this book using some form of electronic device. So that's just kind of a little bit on how you locate your books. Let's go back to the library search. And now let's look at a power search. This one is probably not one that you're going to use a lot of. This one is very limiting. So let's say that you put in dogs and it came back with 1,000 options. So maybe you want to put in dogs, and you also want it to be golden retrievers, and maybe you want it to be non-fiction. So it limits it. So you probably want to be a little careful using a power search because you're not going to get a lot of books returned. So see, there's nothing in there that probably didn't have nonfiction in the title. So it only came back with 3 books. So that's where the power search is kind of limiting your options because of, I said it had to have those words. So it could be and or not. So the power search is more for very specific searching. The visual search is a great search for our K1 and 2 students. If you want to search by particular authors, there's authors in here like Jan Brett and Robert Munsch. So if you just click the author's name, it comes up with all of Robert Munsch's books. Let's go back to the visual search. If you want to search by Bluebonnet books, it doesn't look like I have that one set up. Let's click by science books. Okay, here you have plants. So this is a little bit easier way for our kindergarten, our first graders, and our second graders to search. So copy categories. There's not a lot of things in this one. It's specifically our Bluebonnet books and our Texas 2x2 books. So if you want to know what just the Texas 2x2 books are for this year, you can click on it, and I have those added here. Or all right, now that you know how to use all the different types of searches we have in the catalog, I'm going to show you how to make a My List. Now to make a My List, you're going to have to make sure that you're logged in. You can create a My List if you're not logged in, but it's not going to save it. And the benefit of logging in when you create your My List is that if you cannot print your My List, you can always come down to the Learning Commons and log into the computer, and your My List will be there for you. So you can also write down your books and call numbers if you do not have the ability to print, but it's always best to log in so that you don't have to go and find all the books that you would enjoy to check out and then later go and log in and find out that they're not saved. So just get in the habit of logging in and logging out. So I'm going to search Mo Willems as an author. Oh, and see how it's limiting me to only one book? It's because I did not change the reading level. So let's go back, and I'm going to not care about the reading level. And I'm going to type in Mo Willems. And see, I have a lot more choices. I have 50 books instead of just one book because I was limiting the reading level. And this is where, like, this is the first screen of 25, and then if I needed to see the next set of 25 books, I would click the 2, or I could click Show All, and it would show me all of the books that were recalled. So you can see here 1 of 50 instead of having to toggle between the pages. So let's go down here, and oh, I'm interested in this book, but look, 0 of 1 is available. That means that book is not available for me to check out at this time, but we do own the book. So if I still wanted to read that book, I could go ahead and add it to my list. And it says that it's in my list, but if I go to the Learning Commons, it's probably not going to be there. Now, one thing to remember is that when you make your My List, the book may have been available, but when it comes time to check out the book, somebody else may have come and already checked it out. So it's good to create a list of about 15 to 20 books so that if the one that you're looking for isn't available, you have some other options. So I'm just going to add some books. And look right here, this one says 1 of 2 available. That means we have 2 books, but one of them is checked out. So there is still 1 available to be checked out. All right, so let's just say that I have added all the books. And if I wanted to add more books, like maybe I wanted to search something different, I don't have to start a new list. I can just type in what I'm interested in. I can scroll through and I can add to my list. I can keep adding, so I don't have to just make a list for each topic. I see how this one has 42 pages of books, so I may want to be more specific. It has 1,027 books that I could search through. That could take a long time to search through those, so I may need to be more specific on what I'm looking for. All right, so now I'm ready to look at my list. So all you have to do is click on in this list, and it pulls up the books. So I have 9 books in my list. And remember how I added A House for Hermit when I was in the Destiny Quest part of the search? So that book is there as well. So if I decide, oh, I really don't want this book, I can remove it. If I accidentally put a book in there that I don't want, it's just easy to click remove. You can also see that it tells me at the time of the list that this book is in, all these books are in, but this book is out. That means somebody has checked it out. That doesn't mean by the time I get to the Learning Commons it's not going to be there, but at the time that I created the list, the book that is in the Bennett Learning Commons is being used by somebody else. Now, it's important that you clear out your list after you have checked out the books, because the lists will always be there. So, and this is your account until you graduate high school. So once you are done with your list, once you have checked out all the books that you want to, either go in and remove them one at a time. Let's say that I was able to check out these books, so I go in and remove them, and then these books are not available yet, so I want to add to my list, so I'm going to go back and search and add to my list. But if I've checked out all the books on my list, click remove all. And yes, I want to empty my cart, because otherwise you could end up with hundreds or thousands of books in your list. And so that kind of defeats the purpose of making a My List if you're just printing all the books that you've already checked out or that you've ever been interested in since you've been in McKinney. So by the time you get into high school, that would be a lot of books. So let's go ahead and go put more books in my list so I can show you how to print it. Okay, so I'm just going to click on in this list. Okay, and here's my new list of books. I can print it by clicking here, or let me go back, so I'm going to close that tab. Or I can come down here to citation list and I need to click on bibliography. And then I click go. And here I have the call number. It's sorted by the call numbers for me. I have the author and I have the title. So I also can print this list, but it automatically saves. So I actually can log out. I'm going to show you how I'm going to log out. And then I'm going to log back in and show you that my list is still there. I don't have a list currently because I'm not logged in. So I'm going to log back in. Okay, so I'm logged back in, and it defaults you to home, but you want to be on catalog. You're going to click resource list. Now, public lists are just a bunch of lists that are created by different MRSs. So if you're looking for something on Star Wars, there's a list there. I don't know what yours looks like, if it looks the same as mine, because I'm in a teacher view, but you want to be on my list, okay? And then this is my personal list right here, and I can now print it here, or I can print it down here, but remember changing it to bibliography. So even though I logged out, I'm able to still go back in and see my list. And then I want to clear out my list because I don't need it anymore. When you are finished searching the catalog and creating your My List, whether you decide to print it or to save it and look it up in the Learning Commons, you need to make sure you log out, especially if you are working on a school computer, because we share these computers. So up here you see my name. To log out, you just click the log out. And make sure that it says log in before you leave. You need to make sure that you go to the Apple and you need to log out your name as well. So I hope that helps in creating a My List. If you have questions, please let me know.